He had spent the entire morning pretending everything was under control. The bills were stacked neatly on the kitchen counter, the lunchboxes were packed with whatever he could afford, and his 8-year-old daughter smiled because she believed her father could fix anything. But as Owen locked his tiny house and drove to another plumbing job, he carried a secret weight that no child should ever have to witness. Ever since losing his wife 3 years earlier, every sunrise had become another battle between survival and hope. He wasn't looking for love. He wasn't looking for happiness. He was simply trying to make it to tomorrow. He never imagined that a desperate call from the woman living next door would crack open the walls around his heart. Before we begin this emotional journey, if you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that ordinary people can still change each other's lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise for more heartfelt stories. By late morning, the neighborhood shimmered under warm sunshine as Owen loaded his toolbox into his aging pickup. Just as he was about to leave, his neighbor, Maren, came running across the grass, waving her hands with panic written across her face. Water had begun pouring into her basement, soaking old family albums, furniture, and boxes she had never opened since her parents passed away. Every plumber in town was booked for days because of several burst pipes after recent storms, and she had nowhere else to turn. Owen hesitated. He already had a full schedule, and every missed appointment meant less money for groceries. But one glance at the fear in Maren's eyes reminded him of the countless strangers who had once helped him after his wife's funeral. Kindness had carried him through the darkest chapter of his life. Now it was his turn. The basement smelled of damp concrete and rust. Water spread slowly across the floor while copper pipes dripped steadily from the ceiling. Sunlight filtered through tiny basement windows, creating bright reflections across the growing puddles. Owen immediately knelt beside the broken joint and began shutting off valves while Maren held a flashlight despite the daylight creeping through the windows. She apologized repeatedly for interrupting his workday, but he simply smiled and told her that pipes never cared about schedules. As he focused on repairing the damaged section, he noticed framed photographs stacked safely on higher shelves. They showed a younger Maren laughing beside an elderly couple, celebrating birthdays, graduations, and holidays that could never be recreated. Hours passed. Sweat rolled down Owen's forehead while he carefully replaced the damaged fittings. Maren quietly carried soaked boxes upstairs, refusing to complain despite the exhaustion in her face. Their conversations remained simple at first. They spoke about neighborhood gardens, broken fences, and how children somehow found adventure in the smallest things. Eventually the silence softened into trust. Maren admitted she had inherited the house after losing both parents within 2 years. Since then, every empty room echoed with memories she didn't know how to escape. Owen listened without offering perfect answers because grief had taught him that sometimes understanding meant simply staying present. By early afternoon, the leak had finally stopped. Fresh copper gleamed where the damaged section had once dripped endlessly. Maren sighed with visible relief, but instead of celebrating, she noticed Owen rubbing his aching shoulder while staring toward the basement stairs. There was a sadness behind his eyes that no amount of hard work could erase. She invited him upstairs for iced tea, insisting he needed a break before returning to work. Owen almost refused out of habit. Accepting kindness had become far harder than giving it. They sat on the sunny back porch overlooking blooming flowers that Maren struggled to maintain alone. Birds chirped from nearby trees while children rode bicycles down the quiet street. It was one of those peaceful afternoons that reminded people life could still be beautiful despite everything it had stolen. Maren thanked him again for saving not only her basement but also priceless memories stored inside those boxes. Owen brushed aside the gratitude, explaining that he had simply done what anyone should do. She smiled gently because she knew that wasn't true. Many people would have driven away to protect their own schedules. As they talked, Maren asked about the little girl she often saw waving from Owen's front porch before school. His expression immediately softened. He spoke about Harper with endless pride, describing bedtime stories, school art projects, and how she still left one empty seat at the dinner table because she said her mother would always belong there. Every word revealed a father carrying enormous responsibility with quiet determination. Maren realized he rarely spoke about himself. His entire world revolved around making sure someone else felt safe. The afternoon stretched into golden sunlight as Owen prepared to leave. He packed his tools carefully, avoiding eye contact whenever the conversation drifted toward personal happiness. Maren had noticed something growing between them throughout the day. It wasn't dramatic or sudden. It was the comforting feeling of finding another soul who understood loneliness without needing explanations. As Owen reached the doorway, she gathered unexpected courage. With a shy smile touched by vulnerability, she asked whether he was trying to avoid kissing her. Time seemed to pause. Owen froze, surprised not because he disliked the idea but because it awakened feelings he had buried beneath years of responsibility. He quietly admitted that he wasn't avoiding her. He was avoiding the possibility of loving someone again. Losing his wife had convinced him that opening his heart only created another opportunity for unbearable pain. Every smile from another woman felt like betrayal. Every hopeful feeling filled him with guilt. He had become so busy surviving that he forgot healing required courage too. Maren stepped closer and gently reminded him that love never erased the people who came before it. The heart was not a room with limited space. It simply learned to grow. She told him she wasn't asking him to replace memories or forget promises. She was asking whether he believed two broken people deserved the chance to build something honest together. Tears formed in Owen's eyes because no one had ever described healing that way. Instead of rushing the moment, they simply embraced beneath the bright afternoon sky while the repaired basement quietly dried behind them. The kiss that followed wasn't dramatic or perfect. It was gentle, hesitant, and filled with years of unspoken sorrow finally giving way to hope. Across the yard, Harper watched from her bedroom window. She smiled, not because her father had kissed someone new, but because for the first time in years she saw him smiling without pretending. Over the following months, nothing became magically easy. Bills still arrived. Work remained exhausting. Grief occasionally returned without warning. But laughter slowly found its way back into both houses. Harper helped Maren plant flowers where broken weeds once grew. Weekend breakfasts became shared traditions. The repaired basement became a reminder that even the deepest leaks could be fixed if someone cared enough to stay. If this story has touched your heart, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who still believes in second chances, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise so more people can discover stories that remind us hope is never truly lost. Special request: comment "Kindness heals every heart" if you believe one small act of compassion can completely change someone's life. Because sometimes the greatest repairs are never made with wrenches or copper pipes. Sometimes they begin with one ordinary act of kindness on a bright afternoon, one honest question asked without fear, and one brave heart willing to believe that even after unimaginable loss, love can still find its way home.